but he got to learn it with the feet so he knows when and why he's taking that risk.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me?
Yeah.
That's where people like myself come in because I understand it. And they would say, why you trying? The reason I don't say much more, Stephen, because I don't never want guys to think I'm trying to.
You hating on him?
I'm trying to take your
this is knowledge.
It's all it is.
I like Shakur in that fight. You know what I mean? Shakur is very skillful. He's very smart in the ring, and he comes to fight every time. So.
I think Shakur is massively underrated in terms of his achievements and his ability. Everyone in boxing knows how good Shakur is. He is pound for pound, top 5 in terms of quality. But look at the achievements of the young man. At 28 years of age, he's already a 3-division world champion. This is to become a 4-division world champion. Quite remarkable. And Teofimo always rises to the occasion. Sometimes you see a little bit of a lackluster performance when he's not motivated, when there isn't kind of any legacy on the line. This is different. This is a sold-out Madison Square Garden between 2 of the elite fighters of our generation. And the best thing about this fight is we're seeing them in their prime.
Was particularly anxious to fight Shakur because it's frankly probably a fight that Shakur is going to win.
The potential clash between Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney has become one of the hottest topics in boxing. Years of history and drawn-out negotiations have built anticipation, making this matchup feel like a true super fight in the making.
Devin Haney, of course, calling out Shakur Stevenson. Shakur saying, anytime you want it, we can get it done. Bob, a little bit of this, a little bit of yakking back and forth, right? I mean, how awesome would that be? These 2 names,
we've been talking
stunning
about
this fight for a while.
Tantalizing.
It's
But now,
tantalizing.
I tell you,
it's juicy.
I tell you, this fight now is even more juicy than it was the first time around when they were talking about it. When they were talking about it the first time around, Haney was red hot as undisputed lightweight champion, and Shakur was the boogeyman who was very good, but was having trouble locking in those big
insider
names.
boogeyman.
Right.
I gotta be honest, man. Like this could, if this happens right now, this is the right timing too, because both are at a good moment in their careers.
Very high.
It's actually,
and there's a title on the line.
It's actually simmered better than it had back then.
Experts are divided over a potential showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. Both are young, undefeated champions with high-level skills. Stevenson is celebrated for his defense and precise timing, while Haney relies on speed, a sharp jab, and excellent ring control.
I actually don't know. I mean, my mind says Shakur probably win, but then I see the great work that he did with Loma, or that he fight with Loma, and overcome a lot of different obstacles in that fight. It could be hard for Shakur. Shakur, right? Shakur Stevenson. As they call it'd be hard for him for the long range, the height, the how big he is, stuff like that. And then what makes me think even more is when Shakur say spar with Crawford, and he had lots of problems with Crawford. Even though Crawford wasn't punching him hard or whatever, but you know what he had problems with? He had problems with the long arms and the height of Crawford. So he couldn't counterpunch like he wanted to. Go Crawford. Crawford probably would have hit him hard, but it's different, he's longer and stuff, it's harder. So that could be a problem for Shakur that we don't know.
Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson have a long history, having grown up in the sport together as young prospects. Both honed their skills in the amateur ranks before turning pro, and over time, they've tracked each other's progress, developing mutual respect as rising champions.
Yeah, no, I like Shakur. I think he's good. I've been knowing Shakur since I was a kid, so I always knew that he was good. I knew that he would be at the top one day. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, me and Shakur, we've been sparring since, bro, I think my first sparring session we were like 12 years old, maybe a little bit older, but something like around it, maybe like 13 years old. So it's been times when he got the best of me and I got the best of him. But I cannot, judge him off of those sparring sessions. I know he's gotten better, just like I can't judge Ryan off of the fights we fought when we were kids, because I know that he's gotten better, and so have I. If you're judging off a sparring session, I mean, you're gonna be in for a long night, especially a sparring session when I was a kid.
However, Devin Haney stepped into the spotlight, calling out both Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis as his next major opponents. He labeled a fight with Stevenson as the next biggest fight in boxing, and also set his sights on Davis, sharing the challenge on social media shortly after Stevenson's recent victory.
The dream confirms what I've been saying. 3-division world champion, former undisputed lightweight, former WBC junior welterweight, and reigning WBO welterweight world champion, first ballot Hall of Famer once he retires, superstar boxer, top 5 pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, Devin "The Dream" Haney, 33 wins, no loss and no draw, 15 wins by way of knockout. He calls out another first ballot Hall of Famer of his era. Ironically enough, Devin Haney is 27, and the person he calls out is 28 years old, who's another first ballot Hall of Famer, Olympic silver medalist, 4-division world champion, former unified super featherweight, who simultaneously up until yesterday held the WBC 135-pound title and the WBO 140-pound junior welterweight title. At the same time, superstar boxer, 4-division champion, who will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, Shakur Stevenson, who has 25 wins, no losses, no draw, 11 wins by way of knockout. So Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, as I said, and Devin Haney confirmed it, as you see there, this is the next super fight in the sport of boxing.
Mickey Bay shared a thoughtful perspective on a potential Shakur Stevenson versus Devin Haney matchup, focusing on practical factors rather than height. He noted that Haney could move up in weight without issue and handle the spotlight thanks to his experience. Bay highlighted size as the main challenge, with Stevenson naturally smaller but very quick and precise. That speed, he explained, might even benefit Haney, since smaller fighters often rely more on movement than power.
So it's like maybe something that Devin can definitely go out up there with ease. Only need to deal with the size, but he's probably going to have the speed advantage because he's a smaller guy coming up. So, I mean, you tell me, do you feel like that's going to be harder than the Lomachenko fight?
No. I think Loma probably be his hardest top 2 or 3 fights in his whole career. I could predict that even going to the end, to say, if Devin fight 8, 9, 10 more years, that'd be one of his top 2 or 3 hardest fights because the age that he fought him. Loma was at his very peak. He was at his peak. He was older. He was right there at his top peak.
Paulie Malignaggi sees the timing as ideal for a showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. With both fighters holding championship belts and having already proven themselves as major stars, he feels their contrasting styles and track records create a matchup that's not only exciting for fans, but also significant for boxing as a whole.
Back then, it was really, really something that you wanted to see. But now, because of Shakur's recent performance and Haney still being undefeated and having righted the ship, winning as an underdog against Brian Norman, I rate that. I rate when you take on a fight as an underdog and you win it. I rate that. That's why Haney, for me, got into the circle of trust because he wasn't trying to milk the whole business like Gervonta Davis has. So he's taking on these kind of challenges. He's winning them. He built himself up to that level to now, okay, take on all comers. Win or lose, take on all comers. He's got that win over Norman as an underdog. You can say what you want post in hindsight. In foresight, a lot of people were picking against Haney. He gets that win. Shakur, in the meantime, makes his name bigger. Got to pump those numbers up, and he pumped those numbers up by winning the Shakur the Teofimo Lopez fight. Now, you know what? Okay, now there's an interest from both fighters. A lot more money, a lot more at stake, a lot more, again, ambition. I like to use that word ambition today. And I think a lot more people will be interested in it than the first time around.
Meanwhile, Roy Jones Jr. believes Shakur Stevenson could take his game to the next level by improving his footwork control. He points out that after slipping or blocking punches, Stevenson often retreats too far out of range, which can disrupt his rhythm and limit his offensive opportunities. Jones emphasizes that tighter movement and better positioning would allow Stevenson to stay in striking distance, maintain pressure on his opponents, and maximize the effectiveness of his counters. For a fighter of Stevenson's skill, mastering this aspect could make him even more difficult to beat.
Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is a very good fighter, but you gotta learn, and I will hope he will pay attention to this because this is gonna mean a lot for him. Mm-hmm. His feet are good, but sometimes they take him too far out of range to be able to come back and counter. Mm-hmm. The last guy he fought, the guy was a good puncher, so when he was jumping back, he was jumping too far back out of range to where he couldn't come back and get something right away. You understand me? And for the fans, it starts to look bored.
That's how I'd say. I feel like he was running.
He really ain't running. He just don't understand that distance. Somebody got to teach him, and I would teach him if they brought him to me to teach him. But he got to understand what I'm trying to tell him. I'm not trying to criticize him.
Right.
When you say something bad, they take the criticism.
Right.
No, son, you got to understand how to not jump. Okay. People know what the thing that dig the hole, the excavator, right?
Yeah.
If you move that thing back too far, you can't reach the job.
Right.
It's gotta work, but it gotta stay on the job while it work. You can't take it out of, if you working with this, cause this part keeps it on the job, the feet. This do the work. If you take the thing and move it back, it's off the job, it can't work no more. Right. So if you move it back every time off the job, it ain't gonna never get no work done. So now it's gonna become boring. Why? It ain't doing nothing.
Roy Jones Jr. points out that, as a result, Stevenson sometimes misses chances to counterattack. He believes that by staying a bit closer after defending, Stevenson could better exploit openings, land more effective counters, and punish opponents when they make mistakes.
It started on the hold and it moved to another one. When we gonna get a pawn dug? We're not, because it's taking off the job too much. You gotta leave it on the job for it to get a pawn dug. And that's his only thing. He a great fighter. He got great eyesight. He has great reaction time. He gonna be a great fighter. He just gotta figure out how to use them people different.
Is he the best defensive fighter out of all four of them?
Right now, defensive, yes, because his defense is with his feet. That's what people don't understand. Defense isn't with your hands, it's with your feet. And he has the best foot defense of the game. Mm-hmm. So if he uses it for defense, when it's strictly defense, yes. But when you want to make it offensive, you can't do the same. You gotta cut it in half. And that's the only thing he had a problem. Once he learns that, or figures that out, he gonna be a killer.
Would the skill he has now make him the best out of them four?
Right now, no. Because some people gonna say, boy, and the reason the rest of them don't wanna fight him is because they know he know that back foot game so well that he's not gonna engage until he wants to engage. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing too. But for the fans and to be
not right now,
the ratings, you gotta be able to engage when they need you to engage. Mm-hmm. If you can't, then you're gonna become bored.
Bill Haney, Devin Haney's father and longtime trainer, has been clear and unwavering about rehydration clauses. He has publicly stated that he won't accept any limits on how much weight Devin can regain after the official weigh-in. Their philosophy is that fighters should rehydrate naturally and enter the ring at their strongest without artificial restrictions. This stance, however, could pose a major hurdle if Shakur Stevenson insists on including a rehydration clause in a potential matchup.
Is that, he's on the list, is that a fight you guys are seeking, or are you leaving it alone since he's saying that it would require Devin to get a rehydration clause? Is that something you're willing to get on a phone and discuss how many pounds exactly?
Well, when you're speaking about Debo, you might hear a whole lot of that's inconsistent with things that you say about normal fighters. When you talk about a generational talent like Dev, you would expect those that are elite to look to have, to be on a level playing field. What you weigh is what you weigh, and how you get down the next day is, it's what it's all about, and that's what that is.
Shakur Stevenson, however, remains confident he can outbox Devin Haney. He trusts his defensive mastery, quickness, and sharp counterpunching to give him the advantage. Stevenson believes that by managing distance, slipping Haney's jab, and choosing his moments wisely, he can control the fight and show that his technical skills make him the superior fighter in the ring.
I think Devin's a tremendous fighter. Do I think Devin Haney can beat me? Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
For me, personally, I'm on a different level than everybody.
Yeah.
Former world champion Tim Bradley believes Shakur Stevenson is on the path to becoming one of boxing's biggest stars, potentially even surpassing Terrence "Bud" Crawford in popularity. Bradley points out that while Crawford's accomplishments are legendary, he never fully reached mainstream fame because he stayed away from the media spotlight. Stevenson, on the other hand, stays active on social media and engages with fans regularly. Bradley thinks that combined with his skill, confidence, and media presence, Stevenson could become one of the defining faces of boxing's next generation, even if he isn't naturally the most charismatic personality.
Just about Shakur and his I would say projection. The irony is it's crazy because back when I was helping somewhat mentoring Terrence Crawford, Terrence Crawford surpassed everything I done did and more. Interesting enough, Terrence Crawford mentored Shakur, and Terrence Crawford is on Mount Rushmore. Yeah, he is for sure. But I feel like Shakur, just like Crawford was with me, Shakur has the ability to pass Terrence Crawford.
Tim Bradley Jr. believes Shakur Stevenson has everything needed to become boxing's next major star. With his technical skill, defensive mastery, and high boxing IQ, Stevenson could lead the sport into a new era where fans value precision and strategy over raw power.
Brian Garcia, Devin Haney, Conor Ben, there's a lot of fights that Shakur can be involved in and beat all these dudes, man. Beat all of them. Has a chance of beating all of them, right? And solidifying, his mark in the sport, being, the great of his generation. When Crawford left, I told y'all that, Shakur was the next guy on the throne. And I truly wholeheartedly still believe that. I know there's guys that has worked with Shakur in the past that swear up and down. Oh, shoot, I even forgot Murataya is there too. Guys like Andy Cruz. I mean, there's a lot of talented guys that people respect that Shakur has the ability to freaking challenge.
Timothy Bradley Jr. noted that Shakur Stevenson's focus and ring awareness set him apart from other fighters, marking him as someone who could influence boxing's future. With each win and his undefeated streak continuing, that view only becomes more convincing.
We talking about legendary status. We talking about Mount Rushmore type of stuff, because, all these guys are the elite guys of this generation and people respect them. And if Shakur was to beat them, he's going to definitely make his mark heavy in the sport and become extremely popular, even more popular than what Terrence Crawford is right now, and I feel like Shakur can be that face of American boxing that, we've always had. We have Floyd Mayweather. I think he can be as popular as Floyd Mayweather, if not more popular than Floyd Mayweather, so I don't know, man. Guys, tell me what you think. Am I tripping? But there's a lot of potential matchup for Shakur that can really grow his star, man.
Similarly, Bruce Crington predicts that Shakur Stevenson would control the fight through movement and precision. He says Stevenson's smart positioning, sharp timing, and high ring IQ could neutralize Haney's offense, limit exchanges, and turn the matchup into a highly tactical battle.
Who would you favor at 147 between him and Devin, Shakur?
That's a tough fight. I like both of those styles together, but I do think that Shakur is just more defensively aware, sound and aware. It's possible that Shakur may win that fight. I feel like he's a problem for a lot of guys because of his style. But Devin and both of those styles together, that's a great matchup. And I don't know. That's actually a really good fight. I genuinely don't know.
Stevenson's camp sees a rehydration clause as essential for fairness, particularly when moving up in weight, to prevent opponents from gaining a huge size advantage overnight. With Bill Haney refusing any limits, negotiations for a Stevenson-Haney fight could become complicated, potentially slowing or even blocking the matchup. Trainer Wally Moses explained that rehydration clauses exist to stop fighters from regaining excessive weight after the official weigh-in, ensuring neither boxer enters the ring with a significant size edge.
Just now, he came up there with the aspect like he's a really big guy. But he's not a really big guy, so I don't want people to think he got so much power and he's so strong, He's not no killer, you see him? He seems like a killer to you? Not to me, so.
After Shakur Stevenson delivered a masterful performance over Teofimo Lopez at Madison Square Garden, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre couldn't hold back his praise. He described Stevenson's display as a masterpiece, noting how smooth, calm, and technically precise he looked in the ring. Bomac suggested that young fighters could study the bout as a textbook lesson in boxing, highlighting Stevenson's smart jabs, movement, and exceptional ring IQ. Lopez had no answer, and when asked what it would take to beat Stevenson, Bomac bluntly said, "You probably want to stay away from that kid," showing just how dominant Stevenson's performance truly was.
Yeah, masterpiece, man. He looked so smooth, calm, and relaxed, man. That was beautiful. That was the one boxing lesson that you future guys, young guys and the amateurs just turning pro, watch that, man. That was beautiful. You heard his father say in the corner, "What happened to your fast hands? That didn't work, man."
Just overall, just given the styles in boxing so well, was there any way that Teo could have put on a better performance, a better plan, and gotten a better result?
No, I don't think whatever he would have brought to the table would have worked, man. Shakur just got a great boxing mind. You know, that's just it. He's got a great boxing mind, and once he put his mind to it, he's gonna get the job done.
What is it going to take to beat someone like him?
I don't know, Brian. Probably want to stay away from that kid, man.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Greg Hackett thinks Shakur Stevenson has been hesitant to face Devin Haney because Haney shares many of his strengths. With speed, defense, discipline, and high ring IQ, Haney creates a matchup where there are no clear advantages, turning it into a technical, elite-level contest. Hackett notes that Stevenson typically excels against slower or more aggressive opponents, but against Haney, the fight would be a 12-round chess match, making it far tougher and riskier than fans might imagine.
Because he knows that's a great fight. He knows Dev has something for him. But he got something for Dev. It's a great fight. He know Dev. He know he could possibly lose to Dev. There's things that Dev understand about boxing that Shakur understand, and he wouldn't be able to just take full advantage of Devin Haney. You know what I mean? They both got an education. That's what I'm saying. This comes down to education. That's why Floyd and them used to yell, "Skills pay the bills. Skills pay the bills." You know what I'm saying? You got to really be in the gym working on your skills package. A lot of these dudes ain't working like they think they working. You know what I'm saying? They in the gym, they sweating. You know what I mean? They're working hard, but the information that's being transferred to them is bullshit information, and it's showing in the fights. But who am I?
Armsy, think of the 5-piece. Why everybody want to see Shakur and Devin when Keyshawn called him out?
All of those is great fights. I want to see them all. I don't give a fuck.
A potential showdown between Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson continues to face a major hurdle, keeping the fight from happening, at least for now. Still, both fighters remain at the top of their game, consistently showing the skill, preparation, and discipline that make them elite competitors. Their recent performances underscore their professionalism and ability to perform at the highest level. Haney has publicly expressed his readiness to face Stevenson, showing confidence and a willingness to take on a career-defining challenge, while also acknowledging Stevenson's talent. He knows any fight between them would be intense, highly competitive, and closely contested from start to finish.
That's truthfully what he's doing, because he's saying that he wants to fight, and he's saying that he's willing to fight Devin Haney. He did an interview on Cigar Talk, said he's open and willing to fight Devin Haney. Devin Haney is an exceptional fighter, but he can't beat him, right? Shakur's saying, but I'll beat him. Devin Haney immediately responds, and he says, you're an exceptional fighter, but 1,000%, I'm going to beat you, right? Now, here's the thing. Shakur Stevenson is saying he wants a 10-pound rehydration clause, which would mean Devin Haney can't weigh more than 157 the night of the fight. Is Devin Haney going to concede to that? I doubt it. So there's a major obstacle in the way. But nonetheless, as you watch these two fighters fight, you can clearly see, outside of cheating, they're more than likely not going to lose.
Who would come out on top if Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney finally meet in the ring? Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below.